Tonight's big stories. How did former Senator Leila De Lima spend her first day out of detention after 7 years? We will be talking to her about that in just a short while.
The Health Department and the DICT are now looking into a cyber attack on the World Health Organization that may have affected the COVID-19 vaccination data of Filipinos. And the Civil Aeronautics Board is looking to impose higher fines against airlines that continue to overbook flights, which causes delays for travelers.
Welcome to the show. I'm Gretchen.
And I'm Shawn.
Just a day after being allowed to post bail, former Senator Leila De Lima opted to pay a visit to the Our Lady of Manaoag in Pangasinan, well, against the advice of her own security team. De Lima explained that she kept an image of the Our Lady of Manaoag in her custodial cell, saying it kept her strong while in detention, which is why she insisted on going despite security concerns. She said she had promised to go once she regains her freedom. The former senator was granted bail just this Monday for her last remaining drug case.
I was being dissuaded to come here for security reasons, pero iniyakan ko sila. I practically begged and pleaded. Some of my lawyers.
Niloko nga siya na bisitahin na lang daw niya yung Our Lady of Peña Francia doon sa Naga kasi parehas naman daw Mama Mary. Pero talagang pinili talaga niya pumuntang Pangasinan.
Siyempre kasi alam naman natin of course no, na taga Bicol si former Senator De Lima. Pero alam din natin dahil galing tayo sa Marian School na iba-iba talaga yon. Ang Lady of Manaoag, iba yon sa Our Lady of Peña Francia. At hindi sila interchangeable, lalo na kung faithful ka.
Tama. And she used to go there when she was Justice Secretary at least twice a month. She would, parang kumbaga panata niya yun eh. No? Oo.
Hindi mo na matatanggal yun talaga.
Well, she got her way.
I guess it worked, all the prayers. Ang tagal din yan, no? Halos 7 years nasa jail. 3 years of that, pandemya. Yung hostage taking, hindi ko talaga makalimutan. Kasi nung narinig ko yun last year, parang, ano pa bang pwede mangyari kay former Senator De Lima?
Right. She says she has experienced it all, indeed, inside the cell. Well, we will be speaking with her later on about her thoughts and her experiences on her first day. But over in Iriga City, Camarines Sur, family and staff of the former senator were busy preparing for her homecoming today. Tight security is also being implemented at De Lima's ancestral home. At kanina, yun nga, mukhang maraming bumisita sa kanya. Pero ang pinakamahalaga para sa former senator ay makita niya yung kanyang nanay, 91-year-old mother. I think that she last saw in 2019 when she was allowed furlough when her mother was sick.
Yes, pinayagan naman siya nung time na yon nga bumisita sa nanay niya. At sa pagkakaalam ko, no, single mother din to nga si Senator De Lima. Although I'm assuming na adult na yung mga anak niya. Pero syempre, iba pa rin yung makasama mo sila and your family. Grabe, 7 years. Ang dami na nagbago. Like, sinasabi ko nga kagabi no, sa sarili kong mom kasi parang medyo magka-age sila. Manong pumasok siya, hindi pa siya senior citizen. Paglabas niya, senior citizen na siya. Ang dami ring nagbabago no, in 7 years.
And yun nga rin ang isa sa mga rason. Kaya medyo nagpapalakas muna daw for ating former senator. But you know, we're grateful because she is joining us tonight.
Yes, we have her over the phone nga lang, no? To talk about her years-long legal battle, none other than former Senator Leila De Lima. Former Senator, good evening. Can you hear us? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, former Senator. So good to hear your voice.
Magandang gabi po sa inyo.
Alright,
Magandang gabi sa inyo.
Okay,
Magandang gabi rin sa inyo. Yes.
Kamusta? Ano po ang nasa
Gretchen and
agenda?
Shawn.
Yes. Ma'am, kamusta po? First time in a long time that you're actually in control of your schedule. Can you tell us kung ano po ang ginawa niyo today?
Well, siguro naman nabalitaan nyo na pumunta kami sa Manaoag, Our Lady of Manaoag kanina, Basilica of the Our Lady of Manaoag to give thanks to her personally dahil palagi nga po akong nananalangin sa kanya na tulungan niya akong makalaya, and I promised her that one of the first things that I would do would be to visit her. So that's exactly what I did, although some of my members of my team were telling me, they were dissuading me from doing it. Kasi for security reasons, pero pinilit ko sila, iniyakan ko pa sila. Sabi ko hindi pwede because I don't want to break my promise to Mama Mary. So that's in Manawag. So after 2 days of euphoric moments, I feel so exhausted. Although my adrenaline still high, kasi parang hindi pa rin ako makapaniwala na nangyari na yung pinakahinintay kong oras o
So hindi niyo
araw.
po, you
yung
didn't
paglaya
expect
ko.
this? Yes, former Senator, you did not expect po ba the bail here to happen?
We've
Or
been
parang,
expecting this.
You've been expecting it.
yeah,
On the contrary, we've been expecting this. Nung June pa lang, nung akala namin mag-grant talaga yung bail when we first applied for it. Unfortunately, it was denied by the previous judge. We were so disappointed then. So we were expecting it then as early as May and June. And then hindi nga nangyari, it was denied. And then nag-inhibit yung judge. We filed our motion for reconsideration. And since it's a new judge, kailangan niyang pag-aralan yung kaso, yung voluminous records, kaya medyo tumagal. We were expecting as early as September and then October. And then at least now, November, nangyari na.
Okay, Senator,
Every hearing, yes.
kamusta po
Go ahead.
kamusta po ang kalusugan po ninyo? At saka yung mami po ninyo, nakita nyo today, kamusta rin po yung kalusugan po niya?
First about my mom, di ko pa siya nakikita. Bukas ko pa lang siya
Okay.
mapupuntahan. Yeah, she's in Bicol. She's in Iriga City. So bukas pa lang po ako pupunta doon. About my health, well, I have health issues already because, I'm not getting any younger. I'm now 64 years old. I have health issues, but not serious. And I have maintenance. I have maintenance meds na. Ilan na rin yung mga maintenance medicines ko. For my sugar, for my hypertension. But manageable naman lahat yung aking mga health issues.
Alright, former Senator, matanong ko lang, no? Of course, your security team advised you against going all the way up north to Pangasinan today to visit the shrine of Our Lady of Manawag. Ano po ba itong mga security threats that you are receiving? Are you at liberty to discuss these with us? Also, can you give us an idea na, syempre, inisip namin, 7 years po kayo nasa loob ng Krame. Although nagkaroon nga ng hostage taking, inisip namin, safe naman kayo doon. But give us an idea, have you been actually steadily been receiving threats to your life, to your safety?
Right now, there are no actual threats. But we are not being complacent about it. We must really take it seriously. That indeed, we must be concerned about my security. In fact, some of my friends would tell me, don't you think you feel safer while inside? Yeah, well, I suppose so. I think I'm safer because there are guards there, etc. Although not that safe because nangyari nga yung hostage taking. But comparatively, they say, mas safe ka dyan. Kaya lang, well, I'm willing to take the risk. I'll just take extra precautions because there's no substitute for freedom. I'd rather be free than I have to be free and then vulnerable to this threat rather than locked up
Senator,
in jail.
Senator, you expressed thanks to the Marcos government for their handling of this case. What do you think enabled the witnesses to recant their statements against you? Because that happened in 2022, 2023, and I suppose that's also why you expected being granted bail. What do you think has changed and what has gone your way?
Well, unang-una, I have to clarify that this third case, this last case, wala namang nag-recant, walang kinonsider dito about recanting witnesses. Kasi nung natapos yung bail hearings, wala pa namang nagre-recant. It was after the bail hearings na there are about 2 witnesses na nag-signify ng intention to recant. Yung unang nag-recant is in another case, in kung saan ako na-acquit. It was a key witness, nag-recant siya, and because of that recantation, which was considered by the court to be legitimate and to be credible and to be free of any improper considerations or improper or extraneous influence, it was upheld, and since it was a very crucial testimony, so I was acquitted. Now, ito namang last case, the bail witnesses who were presented, wala naman sa kanilang nag-recant pa. So the grant of the bail was purely because of the evaluation, the results of the evaluation of the judge, Judge Quito, that this evidence were insufficient, they were uncorroborated, they lack credibility. The accounts, the stories of the witnesses lack credibility. So my guilt has not been, there was no strong evidence at all. Kasi kami naman, yun naman talagang aming posisyon, that how can there be strong evidence when these are fabricated evidence? These are invented stories about my alleged involvement in the drug trade in Bilibid.
Right. Just to add to what Gretchen asked, no, actually your counsel, Attorney Tony Lavinia, has said that this development of you being granted bail has something to do with this new development in politics, which is the fallout between the Marcoses and the Dutertes, or so it seems to us. Do you agree with him?
Well, I do not really wish to delve into that, because my point is, my position is that since this administration has respected the independence of the judiciary or the justice system, and therefore it left the judge to its own volition, then it made the right decision insofar as our bail application is concerned. Yun lang naman talagang kailangan ng ating justice system. You have to respect, you have to uphold its independence, and it would be able to do and fulfill its mandate as a dispenser of justice properly. So I do not yet want to be dwelling on the political aspect of this matter.
Speaking of the judicial system, Senator Amy Marcos said that the granting of your bail is proof that our judiciary is independent. And
Yes.
this also means that the ICC should not have any jurisdiction over any Filipino because we have proven that the Philippine justice system is working well. Your reaction to that?
The problem in respect to that issue is that we do not see any investigation being made by any local authority of those considered to be responsible for those extrajudicial killings under the war on drugs. Nothing. None. None of our institutions, none of the investigative bodies of the government is investigating Duterte or his chief enforcer, the former PNP chief, now Senator Pato de la Rosa.
Having
So
said
there
that,
is total absence of domestic accountability, and that is why I is forced to intervene. So that is a different case altogether. If only that early on, all these authorities, all these mechanisms of accountability had moved to really exact accountability, to investigate those seen to be the masterminds, those seen to be chiefly responsible for those wrongful deaths under the so-called war on drugs, then ICC would not have thought of interfering at all.
Having
So
said
it's a
former
different
Senator,
matter.
yes, having said
Yes.
all of that, we are, of course, familiar with your history, your past when you were a CHR commissioner under former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. And this was when you started to investigate, the Davao death squads and these extrajudicial killings still in Davao City at that time. Of course, you took it further when you were Justice Secretary and, of course, as Senator in the upper chamber. Having said that, now that you're a free woman, are you still going to be pursuing this to bring it to light or to bring these issues to light and pursue justice for the victims on the war on drugs?
In whatever capacity, I'm committed to do that because that has been my core advocacy, and that's the very reason in the first place why they did that to me. Because I initiated those investigations. They wanted to silence me. They wanted to disable me. So now that I'm free, then I have to continue working on it in whatever capacity.
Will you be pursuing complaints against certain personalities like former DOJ Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre, who is allegedly one of the people who pressured some of those witnesses to speak out against you or to to pressure them to make these statements? Is that also part of your advocacy now as a free person?
That's part of attaining justice. And my legal team has been discussing that already. We're looking into what specific courses of action have to be made. There has to be reckoning from those responsible in persecuting me.
Okay, nabanggit niyo po kanina sa totoo lang na si former President Duterte at saka si former Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre, yan po yung mga balak niyo pong kasuhan. Pero bukod po sa kanila, how about those who testified against you who recanted? Rafael Ragos, former Bucor Director General, Ronnie Dayan, of course, the two police officers. Sino pa po ba ang tinitingnan po ninyong maaari niyong kasuhan?
Pinag-uusapan po ko yan ng aming team. Kasi yung sa recantation naman, since binawi naman nila yung kanilang naging kasinungalingan, then we can then there will be some rethinking about the appropriateness of or the desirability of filing cases against them. Since binawi nila yung kanilang kasinungalingan. Now, it's a different matter if they have insisted on their lives, then they are definitely liable for perjury. But there's still some room for filing cases, but we have to really carefully tread on that.
So you understand naman po, ma'am, no, kung bakit sila, kumbaga, why it took them so long to recant their statements? As a person. Yeah.
They have reasons. They have reasons, and we want to understand them. We want to hear from them. We want to know from them exactly why they did that.
Have you
And
forgiven
that's part
them?
of our evaluation. I've forgiven the witnesses. I've forgiven those who have, somehow helped out in convincing them, the handlers of these people. But I'm not ready to forgive the very one, the one chiefly responsible for what was done to me.
Okay. Former Chief Legal Counsel Sal Panelo also had a lot to say at sabi po niya, hindi pa raw kayo off the hook. Let's hear it from him.
Hindi po
What
siya
is he talking
makakatakas sa batas ng karma. Natatandaan nyo, siniraan ng Pangulong Duterte, di umano, siya ay nagpapatay ng maraming mga biktima. Hindi niya napatunayan yung kanyang kausasyon. Pangalawa, yung ginawa niya po kay dating Pangulong Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, ito'y pinigil niya ang dating Pangulo para magpagamot. Yung po ang mga kasalanan niya na binabayaran niya sa pagkakulong niya ng halos 7 taon.
Former Senator, your reaction to that?
Paano magiging karma paggaganap mo lang ng trabaho mo. I was just doing my job in all those situations, both in the case of former President Duterte and in the case of former President Arroyo. I was simply doing my job and there was never nothing personal about it. Sila po yung mga naging vindictive. Sila po yung mga naging vengeful dun sa mga ginawa ko. So how can there be karma about it?
All right, Senator W.H.O de la Rosa, as you have pointed out, he's already in Senate now. He also had some things to say. Are you also going to pursue any cases probably against Senator de la Rosa? Be that it may, that he was perceived as the architect of the war on drugs.
Well, he's under investigation already by the ICC. And that's why it's important to closely monitor what's being done by the ICC. And depending on the exact status and depending on the further developments of the ICC, and let's see if there's need for some complementary actions here in our country.
What about
For
former...
purposes of pursuing those responsible.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, what about former congressman, former speaker actually, Alvarez, and Alan Peter Cayetano, who also, I think, publicly persecuted you in the legislature? Is that forgiven, or are you going to let that pass, or still thinking about what to do with regard to that?
But they're among the enablers, and we're part of the discussion among my legal team.
All right, let's circle back.
I still can't say kung kasama sila and what exactly would be the action or the course of action.
Okay, former Senator, what would justice mean to you, and how confident are you about the climate of justice under the Marcos administration?
Justice for me is total exoneration from the last case. It means dismissal or acquittal. Justice to me is vindication. Justice to me is knowing the whole truth about what happened, what was done to these witnesses, how exactly this fabrication of evidence, of testimony was done, who was behind them, who told them to fabricate those testimonies, how exactly it was done. That is justice to me, because I want the people, I want the whole world to know the truth about my innocence, that I was simply a victim of vengefulness, of vindictiveness. And for as long as, again, this administration would continue to respect the independence of the judiciary, the independence and the workings, the effective workings of the justice system, then I would have high hopes of attaining complete justice.
All right, which leads me to our next question. This current last remaining case that you have, of course you are out on bail, but the case will still continue to roll on. Your counsel, Attorney Lavinia, said by end of first quarter next year, I quote, completely malaya na daw po kayo. Are you confident about this timeline? Or kahit hindi dun sa timeline na makakalaya po kayo? Or are you expecting any, curveballs from the prosecution at this point in time?
Sa umpisa pa lang confident na po ako sa innocence ko. It's just really about the time. Siyempre, nung panahon ni Duterte, halos zero ang yung possibility nun na makalaya ako. Mm-hmm. Pero, it's just, it's a question of time. When it's going to happen. Pero we've been very confident since I'm innocent. And truth will always come out. Truth shall set you free, and justice, no matter how delayed, will be there. So, kasing confident po ako ni Professor Lavinia.
Senator, nabanggit nyo nga po, more than 2,000 days po kayo na sa prison. Ano po mga plano po natin? Bukod sa makita yung inyong mommy, anything that you're excited to do with this freedom that you have regained?
So many things to do and so many things to reflect on, to ponder on. And syempre, the next steps to take my life back, to redeem my honor, to rebuild my life. And, I have to earn income to resume my law practice, also my teaching at law school, and many others. And in all of this, syempre hindi ko bibitawan yung aking mga pagsulong sa mga foremost advocacies ko.
What about to come back to politics, former Senator? Will we be seeing you back in the political arena?
Wala pa po yan sa mga plano ko. It's far from my mind now. Mas marami pa po akong mga dapat asikasuhin. The family life, the personal life, and also financial matters.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. We know it's been a long day for you. I guess welcome back, and we hope that you do get enough rest for tonight. Maraming salamat. Former Senator Leila De Lima.
Thank you so much. Good evening.
Up next, millions of COVID-19 vaccination data from the Philippines have reportedly been leaked after a supposed cyber attack on the World Health Organization. More details on that when the big story returns. Keep it here on One News. Welcome back. You're still watching the big story here on One News. A cyber attack into the database of the World Health Organization led to the leaking of COVID-19 vaccination data of millions of Filipinos. The Computer Emergency Response Team of the DICT confirms that WHO's vaccination database for the Philippines has been compromised. But it's not just the Philippines. Vaccination records from India have also reportedly been breached. The DICT has yet to determine the extent of the data breach affecting Filipinos, but they note that some information has already been leaked on the dark web. The agency says the report on the cyber attack must come from the WHO, but as of now, the organization has yet to release a statement on the matter.
We can confirm that through our answer, the National Computer Emergency Response Team, we have gotten information that there was an incident with regards to the WHO website, wherein certain information, particularly COVID-19 information, were dumped dun sa mga various platforms and into the dark web. It's a problem of jurisdiction because WHO is an international organization. The DICT and the Philippine government really has no control over them. Ang ginagawa ko lang natin is we let them know that we received these reports, tapos bahala na ho sila paano nila actionan. As to the extent, hindi rin tayo pwede kasi we really need some data from them.
Wala ka nang katatakutan kung yung data mo ay part ng PhilHealth data.
Kasi naulit lang.
Na-leak na yung data mo di ba?
Pero ito nga, ano nga ba yung kasama dun sa possible na nakuha?
Of course,
vaccine. Name, birthday. Birthday, kasi kailangan nila i-determine yung edad mo, di ba? Bago ka magpa-vaccine. Ano pa ba? Address, contact number.
Medical records before you get vaccinated.
Sabi ko nga, pati blood pressure ko yata, alam nila eh.
Yeah, so I guess the wise thing to do is to make sure that your passwords don't contain any of those data.
Always, always. I think at this point in time, 2023 na, gumagamit pa rin ba tayo ng mga birthday sa password? Dapat hindi na. Diba? That's sound advice.
But I think this proves the point of our the ICT officials that this is not an isolated case, use of PhilHealth.
Kumbaga, at saka hindi
right?
tina-target yung
Like,
Pilipinas
that
lang.
it is a worldwide problem, data hacking, and that we need to beef up cybersecurity in all ways. In fact, even in India, info of more than 800 million people were allegedly leaked. And we still don't know the extent of the breach here in the Philippines. But so far, up to 80 million Filipinos have already received their second dose. That's from 2021 to 2023.
Right, so I guess for now, we have to wait and see what the World Health Organization has to say because they have not yet released a statement on the matter. Buti nga nahuli ng DICT at naabisuhan nila yung WHO that such a leak happened. Now, ang tanong, did this data breach also affect the health department or the DOH? And what is the agency doing to address or head off the cyber attack? Yeda Pascual has the answers for us tonight. What do you have, Yeda?
Shawn, the DICT says they cannot say for certain that the DOH database has also been hacked. But the ICT spokesperson Aboy Paraiso noted that the data obtained by the WHO came from the DOH. The Health Department, for its part, says it's now coordinating with the DICT to address the issue. Health Secretary Ted Harbosa admits that the health sector is a usual target of hackers, noting the recent Medusa ransomware attack against PhilHealth, where data of millions of users have also been leaked to the dark web. Herbosa says this is why it's important for health-related offices to update their systems.
Well, the health sector has always been a target of hacking. Even in other countries, tinatawag niyang denial of service and then ransomware. It's very important that data systems or data managers make sure that there is appropriate and updated protection of the data system from hackers. The hacking is continuous. It happens all over the world.
For now, Herbosa has a word of caution for Filipinos who have received their COVID-19 vaccine. He says they should remain vigilant, take steps to secure their personal and private, and think before they click. Shawn?
All right, thank you for that, mobile journalist Yeda Pascual. And President Bongbong Marcos has expressed his full support for the long-term and peaceful leadership or self-governance in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. This commitment was made during his attendance at the inaugural BARMM or BARM Local Legislative Assembly in Davao City. Marcos Jr. acknowledged the progress made by the BARM, but admitted that establishing the new autonomous government remains a challenge. Currently, 7 offices or intergovernmental bodies have been established in BARM. They have been tasked with formulating policies and laws for the region and coordinating with the national government. Marcos Jr. also highlighted the recent visit of Japan Prime Minister Fumio Kishida to the Philippines just this month, where they reached an agreement for Japan to provide $6.8 million worth of construction equipment for road network improvement and disaster quick response operations in the BARM.
I am also pleased to report that during the recent visit of Prime Minister Fumio Kishida of Japan, we signed and exchanged the diplomatic notes on the non-project grant aid for the acquisition of $6.8 million worth of construction equipment for road network improvement and disaster quick response operation in BARM. That is Japan.
Meanwhile, President Marcos is set to depart for San Francisco, USA to attend the APEC Leaders Summit. After that, Marcos is also set to visit Los Angeles and Hawaii, where his family went into exile after the historic 1986 EDSA People Power Revolution. Marcos's attendance at the APEC summit comes amid heightened tensions with China in the West Philippine Sea.
Speaking of the president's departure for the APEC summit in California, we have with us over the phone Maricel Halili. Mase, along with other members of the Malacanang Press Corps, will join in on the president's trip. Good evening, Mase. What's the latest?
Hi, good evening, Gretchen and Shawn. I'm already here in the presidential plane waiting for President Bongbong Marcos, who just finished giving his departure speech. He will be traveling to San Francisco, USA from November 15 to 17 to attend the APEC summit. Based on the initial schedule that was given to us by the Presidential Communications Office, the first agenda of President Bongbong Marcos is to meet the Filipino community in San Francisco. That'll be tomorrow afternoon. And then after that, he will be attending the different events of the APEC that will be hosted by the United States. The president will be staying in San Francisco up until November 17 before flying to Los Angeles to meet also the Filipino community there. That will be a working visit for President Bongbong Marcos. He will be staying there overnight before flying to Hawaii on the 18th to also meet our Filipino community there. The president will also be having several business meetings. I heard that he will also be meeting with Elon Musk, but we still have to confirm that. Earlier today, the Presidential Communications Office also announced that Vice President Sara Duterte will be the government's caretaker while President Bongbong Marcos is in the United States. For now, the president will be riding the presidential plane anytime now. Gretchen, Shawn?
All right, one quick question, Mase. In the APEC summit related activities, has the president scheduled any other meetings on the sideline, either bilateral or otherwise?
Yes, he has sideline meetings with some business sectors. He will be having private meetings, but there was no mention. Okay, so the flight attendant just announced that the president is already here on board. So I have to cut this call because we'll be flying anytime now. I'm sorry, Shawn, Gretchen.
All right, Mase, we'll get more updates from you once you land in San Francisco. Mag-ingat ka.
Safe flight.
Maraming salamat. Maricel Halili.
All right, we're going to pause for a quick break. Right after that, the Civil Aeronautics Board is eyeing to impose higher fines for air carriers or airlines that overbook flights. The details when the big story returns. Keep it here.
Welcome back. You're still watching The Big Story here on One News.
All right, here's some good news for travelers. I, for one, Gretchen, I'm so happy to hear this news because the CAB, or Civil Aeronautics Board, is now planning to impose higher fines on airlines that overbook their flights. From 5,000 pesos penalty per violation, CAB plans to increase the fine to 200,000 pesos up to 2 million pesos depending on the violation. This was confirmed by Senator W.H.O in the plenary debates on the budget of the Transportation Department, where several incidents of flight overbooking by Philippine Airlines have surfaced. According to Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, PAL should be given an ultimatum, especially since they are the flag carrier.
I think there has to be an ultimatum with them. If you want to be flag carrier, there's a certain standard that you have to follow. So maybe the DOTR can put a certain criteria and say, if you don't meet this criteria in the next 18 months, we will open up giving the flag carrier entitlement to someone else. No?
Now, what else were proposed by senators to address PAL's overbooking issues? Let's bring in Camille Samonte for the details. Camille, what do you have?
Gretchen, as mentioned earlier, Senator W.H.O also expressed concerns about PAL's various problems, including overbooking, facility issues, and schedule irregularities. She proposed reducing slots and privileges for PAL if it doesn't improve services. Both Po and Cayetano also highlighted the need for regulations on overbooking, with the two agreeing to a limit of 10%. Let's listen into that.
Limit on the overbooking that they can do. Now, the CAB is telling us hanggang 10% overbooking lang. Kaya pala nagkakaproblema, katulad na nangyari nga ng isang celebrity na overbook, hindi nakasakay yung kasama niya, siya naman na-downgrade. Kasi pala, there's no limit on the overbooking that they can do. Now,
Gretchen, along with that, the two senators suggested higher compensation for affected passengers in cases of overbooking. Overall, the senators stressed the importance of holding airlines accountable and implementing effective rules and penalties. Gretchen?
Maraming salamat, Camille Samonte. That celebrity that she was talking about was Vice Ganda, of course.
From Bangkok.
So now we know that Twitter works.
It really works. But only if, maybe if on you it would work. For me, I'm not sure if i-message baka ko ni @flypal.
Pero to explain na to our viewers, overbooking is something that's regularly done by airlines. Legally, they're allowed to do that, a certain percentage. Kasi sabi ni Senator, dapat may limit yun. Ano?
Tama. Kasi nga, parang intindihan naman natin yung airlines. Bubuka, let's say, may 500 seats. Tapos yung 50 doon hindi sumipot. Di lugi, di ba? Malulugi sila. It's a way for them to balance their expenses and their earnings.
Pero sinasabi rin kasi, umaasa sila that the free market forces will disincentivize airlines from overbooking too much. Kasi maraming kumaga turn off.
Gusto ko yung faith nila sa
diba? Pero
free market forces.
Pero kasi ito, 5,000 pesos to 200,000, medyo huge jump yun, kung tataasan yung penalties.
Siguro, I think enforcement of the regulation and of course coming up with an algorithm, I'm sure may calculation for that, di ba? The fair calculation. Okay, speaking of calculation and regulation, here's some more good news for the transport sector. At least the Energy Department sees more fuel price rollbacks until early next year. Pump prices rolled back by up to 3 pesos per liter today, and the DOE says that we can expect more rollbacks soon. Now, this is because of lower demand from China and higher production in the world market. The DOE says we can expect fuel prices to continue going down until the first quarter of 2024, barring any escalation in external risks, including the conflict between Israel and the militant group Hamas.
Talagang mukhang tutuloy-tuloy na itong pagbaba unless meron na namang gawin, unless may gagawin na namang pronouncement itong OPEC kung ano-ano namang cut ang gagawin. At kung lumala ang tension.
After the break, quick reminder for everyone, it's 41 days before Christmas. That's right, slowly but surely Filipinos are getting into the Christmas spirit. And where better to feel that than in the Ayala Triangle? We'll look at how they're celebrating Christmas season when the big story returns. Stay with us.
the big story here on One News.
Shining, shimmering, splendid ang holiday season sa Ayala Triangle with the opening of the annual Festival of Lights.
Brian Basa is there and he joins us now live from the Ayala Triangle Gardens to show us the colorful display for this Christmas season. Brian, hi!
Hi, Shawn and Gretchen. Alam nyo, hindi lang feel na feel. Oo nga, ayan na nga, eto na tayo, ano, Shawn, Gretchen, hindi lang feel na feel, kundi kitang-kita ang Pasko rito sa Ayala Triangle, and Ayala Land is making it big on the 15th year of its Festival of Lights. The sun is down, but this night is sparkling. You'll be enchanted with the dancing light displays. Christmas Wonderland feels all around. Of course, the highlight of this Festival of Lights, the classic light show directed by David. It's a feast for the senses that will make people say, well, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas in Makati City. Ladies.
Okay, bukod dun sa light show, Brian, may pa-music festival din. Tell us more about that.
Yes, Gretchen, the light show will make people sing and dance while marveling at the sights. The presentation features 3 medleys. There's one that features Christmas OPM songs and even the hymns you hear at Mass during Simbang Gabi in particular. There's another medley that has more of a K-pop feel, so that will make people dance even more. And of course, the third set features more of your classic Yuletide carols. So this audiovisual treat is something you can see every night here at the Ayala Triangle Gardens. Back to you.
Brian, what is new about this year's light show as compared to previous years? Did the organizers mention anything that people can look forward to, yung mga every year na pumupunta dyan?
Yes, Shawn, 2 new attractions will be making this Festival of Lights even brighter this year. One of them is called Wish Upon a Light. So imagine a wishing pond, pero hindi siya pond talaga, no? It's not a pond, but a plasma screen. So you can call it perhaps a wishing plasma, a wishing screen, or a wishing TV. You get to write down your wish on that TV. Oo, akala talaga namin pond siya. But when we went there, it was actually a plasma screen. Like the television set behind you in the studio, no? Kasi you get to write your wish on it, and then that wish is projected on the wall. So you can take photos with your writing on the background. And then, another one, there's an artwork display by Global Movement Liter of Light. Remember the people who build solar light bulbs using plastic bottles and bleach? Sila yon. No, they teamed up with visual artist Leroy New for this attraction. New's art installation will be lit up with Liter of Light's solar light bulbs. So these attractions, combined with the light show, will greet everyone this holiday season. By the way, that art installation will be up on December 2nd. Ladies.
Okay, Brian, di ka naghagis ng barya. So nakatipid ka ng piso kasi yung wish mo nasa plasma, hindi mo kailangan ihagis.
Baka magasgasan pa yung plasma di ba? Oo.
Pero anong schedule dyan? What time does it open?
Oo naman, di ba?
What time does it open? Panggabi lang ba yan? Kasi nga light show. So, I guess before sunset, you won't see anything?
Yeah, that's right. Bukas ang Festival of Lights ng Ayala Land mula ngayong gabi hanggang January 14, 2024. So essentially, there's a lot of time, a lot of chances for people to come and see the shows. Their light show runs every hour from 6 to 10 in the evening. Back to you.
Okay, Brian, Paskong Pasko na, pero yung traffic, Paskong Pasko na rin ba?
Okay, right now we're standing here in front of the display. Nakikita naman natin medyo light ang traffic ngayon sa Makati City. I mean, it's past rush hour, di ba? But of course, we're expecting this traffic to get heavier and heavier as we approach Christmas. Siguro, this is a chance also to remind everyone who's watching us to please plan your trips ahead of time. If you're planning to go Christmas shopping, please plan ahead kasi you wouldn't want to get stuck in traffic, especially pag palapit ng Pasko. Ladies.
May bagong mall dyan, no, Brian, sa gilid nung park. Kung saan tatayo yung bagong Mandarin Hotel. So, nadagdagan ba yung parking o nakikita mo pa rin yung pila dyan sa parking?
Ay, in fairness, wala naman. Wala naman sa mga oras na ito, ano? So again, medyo green and go pa naman. Light ang sitwasyon for motorists out there. Nothing to worry about, at least for this evening.
Masayang
Back to
kami
you.
para sa'yo. Unahan muna kami mag-celebrate ng Christmas. Thank you so much for joining us. Brian Basa reporting to us live from the Festival of Lights at the Ayala Triangle.
Alam mo, na-realize ko na bakit wala si Regina tonight.
Bakit?
Kasi sinabi mo, 41 days before Christmas na lang.
Namimili siya regalo natin?
Oo, siguro.
Baka nandun siya.
Tsaka ayaw niya maging Grinch tonight.
Okay.
Right, 41 days before Christmas, according to Gretchen. That's it for the show tonight. We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Thanks for tuning in and have a good night.